Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions, life happening around you but not really to you? The days blur together, colors fade, and emotions feel distant, like faint sounds underwater. Good news, bad news, it all passes by without much impact. If this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Many carry this invisible weight. Feeling numb isn't a flaw or a failure, it's a gentle signal from within, asking for your attention. This state doesn't define you, it's just a moment, not your whole story. Emotional numbness is often your mind's way of protecting itself from too much pain or stress. It acts as a shield, softening life's blows and offering a temporary refuge. This shield lets you keep functioning when emotions are overwhelming. But while it protects, it also blocks out joy and connection. It's okay to acknowledge the shield's purpose and to consider gently lowering it when you're ready. Healing starts with recognizing both the comfort and the cost of numbness. Sometimes numbness feels like standing in the eye of a hurricane, calm but detached. You watch your life from a distance, emotions muted, as if behind glass. At first, this stillness can be comforting, but over time it becomes isolating. The world's textures and connections feel dulled. You move and speak, but your true self feels hidden away. This is the core of emotional numbness, protection that slowly turns into isolation. Numbness drains life of its color. Joy, passion, even sorrow fade to gray. Hobbies lose their spark, music becomes background noise, and relationships feel distant. It's not dislike, just a lack of inner ignition. Conversations become routine, connection feels out of reach. This fading vibrancy mirrors a quiet emptiness inside, a sense that something vital is missing. The world waits, quietly, for the rain of feeling to return. If this resonates, know you're not alone. Many quietly share this journey. Numbness is often misunderstood, mistaken for indifference or lack of effort. In truth, it's usually the result of feeling too much for too long. Naming your numbness is an act of courage and the first step toward healing. This state is temporary, a shelter, not a life sentence. With kindness and patience, you can find your way back to feeling. Numbness is a defense mechanism, your mind's way of preventing emotional overload. Like a fuse box tripping to prevent a fire, it shuts down feelings to protect you. But this shield also blocks out joy and connection, not just pain. Recognizing this dual role helps you approach numbness without shame. It's not failure, it's your inner protector doing its best. Compassion for yourself is the first step back to a fuller life. Numbness often creeps in under the weight of ongoing stress, a backpack that grows heavier each day. Chronic stress drains your emotional reserves, leaving you exhausted and muted. Your mind dials down sensitivity to help you cope, but at the cost of feeling less. This deep exhaustion is more than tiredness. It's a sign your system is overwhelmed. Numbness is a way to conserve energy, not a sign of weakness. It's your body's way of enduring when life becomes too much. Emotional burnout leads to numbness when you give too much for too long without replenishing. Your emotional well runs dry, leaving emptiness and detachment. This is common in caregiving roles or demanding relationships. Burnout isn't just tiredness. It's a depletion of your emotional core. Numbness becomes a barrier, protecting you from further drain. It's a signal. You need rest, healing, and gentle self-care to refill your well. Overwhelm is a feeling so many of us know intimately. It's that sensation of being completely swamped, utterly inundated. Too many tasks are piling up, demanding your immediate attention. Too much information is flooding your senses, your mind. Too many difficult decisions need to be made all at once. Life can sometimes feel like a relentless barrage, and our capacity to process it all has very real limits. When these limits are consistently breached, numbness can set in. Think of your mind as a dedicated processing unit. It works tirelessly to make sense of the world around you, but just like any processor, it has a finite capacity. When it's bombarded with too much input, too many demands, it can struggle to keep up, to manage the sheer volume. It might feel like your internal circuits are overloaded, on the verge of short-circuiting from the constant pressure. This state of being chronically overwhelmed is a heavy burden. Numbness in this context can be seen as an emergency brake, a way for your mind to stop the relentless influx. When the sheer volume of feeling, thinking, and doing becomes too much, your system might instinctively start to shut down certain functions, including the ability to feel emotions with their usual intensity. This creates a kind of mental distance, a protective fog. It helps to reduce the overwhelming noise, both internal and external, allowing you a moment to breathe, to simply exist. This response isn't a sign of personal failure or inadequacy. It's a very human reaction to an increasingly demanding world. We are often expected to juggle more than is truly manageable, to be constantly available, constantly productive, constantly engaged. Feeling overwhelmed is a natural signal that your load is too heavy. Numbness, then, is your mind's attempt to lighten that load, to protect you from the crushing weight of too much. It's a call to simplify, to reduce the input, to find some quiet. Sometimes numbness isn't something that just happens to us. It can also be a result of actively trying not to feel. We all experience emotions that are uncomfortable or painful, feelings like fear, deep sadness, shame, or intense anger. It's natural to want to turn away from these difficult sensations, to try and push them down, ignore them, or wish them away. This act of avoidance can feel like a sensible strategy, a way to protect ourselves from emotional discomfort in the moment. The challenge, however, is that we cannot selectively numb our emotions. Our emotional system doesn't have a dial with precise settings where we can choose to turn down only the negative feelings while keeping the positive ones like joy and love at full volume. When we consistently try to suppress or avoid certain emotions, we inadvertently begin to dull our capacity to feel all emotions. The shield we raise to block out the pain also, unfortunately, blocks out the warmth and the light. This pattern of avoidance can easily become a deeply ingrained habit. If we learn that pushing feelings away brings temporary relief, we might start to use this strategy more and more often. It becomes our go-to response whenever discomfort arises. Over time, we might even become unaware that we are doing it. It's like building a wall around our heart, brick by brick. Each act of avoidance adds another layer to that wall, making it harder for any feelings to get in or out. Eventually, this habitual avoidance leads to a more generalized numbness. The rich, varied landscape of our inner emotional world can become barren and quiet, lacking in vibrancy because we've effectively stopped tending to it, stopped feeling it. The very act of trying to control our feelings by suppressing them can lead to a state where we feel very little at all. This numbness is the unintended consequence of trying to stay safe by not allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to our own hearts. Past experiences of trauma can cast a long, quiet shadow. And, numbness is often a profound part of that shadow's presence. Trauma isn't just about major life-threatening events. It can also stem from experiences that left you feeling intensely afraid, helpless, or overwhelmed, shattering your sense of safety. These experiences can deeply impact how you feel, or honestly, how you don't feel, long after the actual events have passed into memory. The body and mind remember, and sometimes they numb to survive. Numbness can be an immediate, instinctive response to a traumatic situation. It's a form of dissociation, a way the mind protects itself from pain or horror that feels simply unbearable in the moment. It's like stepping outside of your body, or feeling detached from reality. This psychological distancing helps to create a buffer, allowing you to endure what might otherwise be completely shattering. This is an incredibly powerful survival mechanism, a testament to the mind's capacity to protect us. Even after the traumatic experience is over, numbness can persist. The mind and body might remain in a state of heightened alert, or conversely, they might stay in that protective, numbed-out mode, as if still bracing for impact, still needing to conserve resources. The nervous system can get stuck in what we call survival mode, where feeling deeply seems too risky, too vulnerable. So, the volume on emotions remains turned way down, a quiet echo of the original need to disconnect from overwhelming feeling. This kind of numbness is a profound attempt to cope with the unbearable. It is a survivor's cloak, worn to navigate a world that once felt, or perhaps still feels, profoundly unsafe. It's not a choice, but a deeply ingrained protective strategy. Understanding this helps us approach such numbness with immense compassion, recognizing it as a sign of past pain that needs gentle acknowledgement. and a signal that the path to feeling again must be paved with safety, patience, and profound kindness towards oneself. Grief is a natural response to loss, and loss comes in so many forms. When this grief is not acknowledged, it often transforms into a quiet, heavy numbness. Society often doesn't create enough space for us to truly grieve. Numbness, in this context, can be a way of coping with pain. Healing requires us to move through the pain, not around it. Allowing the feelings to surface can be difficult, but it is also the path to releasing the weight and reclaiming your vitality. Numbness offers a certain allure. Imagine being tossed in an emotional storm, waves of anxiety, sadness, or anger crashing over you. Then, you find a calm cove within yourself. Numbness. It feels still, a stark contrast to the chaos before. A much-needed sanctuary where you can finally catch your breath. The absence of that intense feeling is a welcome change. Numbness steps in, and the sharp edges of pain seem to soften. This quiet isn't true peace, but it can certainly mimic it for a while. It feels safer than the turbulent waters of our full emotional range. Numbness starts to feel like a reliable, if somewhat empty, friend. Remember how we talked about numbness as a shield? It's like a protective barrier that your mind raises in times of distress. This shield is, honestly, incredibly effective at its primary job. It dulls the impact of painful experiences, softening the blows, and helps you endure what might otherwise feel just unbearable. This protection, this buffering effect, is a powerful reinforcement. Your brain, in its wisdom, registers this. This helped me survive. This kept the overwhelming pain at bay, so it must be good. When a strategy works, especially one that reduces threat or pain, our minds are wired to learn from that experience quickly. The connection is made. Emotional threat arises. Numbness activates. Pain lessens. This sequence, repeated over time, starts to become automatic. Like a well-worn path in a forest, it just becomes easier to follow. The numbness response gets triggered more readily, more efficiently, even in situations that might be less threatening than the original trigger. The shield becomes a default setting, rather than an emergency measure. This protective shell, once formed, can feel strangely comfortable, not in a joyful or fulfilling way, but in its familiarity. It's a known state, predictable in its mutedness. The world outside the shell might be unpredictable and scary, but inside, things are consistently quiet, consistently dull. There's a certain kind of safety in that predictability, even if it comes at the cost of vibrant, joyful experiences. The shell once protected you, and now it feels like part of you. Over time, the reasons for initially raising the shield might fade. The acute stress may lessen, the trauma may be in the past, but the habit of numbness, the protective shell, often remains. It has learned to stay because it once served such a vital purpose. It has become an ingrained coping mechanism, a familiar way of being. Letting go of this shell means stepping back into vulnerability, and honestly, that can feel incredibly daunting after being shielded for so long. The shell has become a habit, hard to shed even when it's no longer needed. Engaging with our emotions fully requires a significant amount of energy. To feel joy deeply, to process sorrow, to navigate anger, these experiences, while vital, are metabolically active for our minds. They involve thought, physiological changes, and conscious awareness. When you are already depleted, perhaps from chronic stress or burnout, your system naturally looks for ways to conserve precious energy. Numbness, in this context, can feel like the path of least resistance, a way to operate on a kind of emotional low-power mode. Think about how much effort it takes to truly connect with someone, to listen with empathy, or to share your own vulnerable feelings, or the energy required to face a difficult truth about yourself. These are really active, engaging processes that demand your resources. Numbness offers an alternative that feels less demanding. It allows you to go through the motions, to function on autopilot, without the significant energy expenditure of deep emotional processing. This can seem like an efficient strategy when your reserves are low. This low-energy mode can subtly become your default way of operating, especially if the demands of your life continue to be high, or if you haven't had the chance to truly rest and replenish. The mind might prioritize basic functioning over rich emotional experience. It's a survival tactic. Keep the essentials running, even if it's subdued. The ease of not having to grapple with intense feelings or the complexities of emotional ups and downs can be appealing. It feels simpler, less taxing, when you're already running on empty. And so, the habit of numbness is further reinforced by this energy conservation. It becomes an easier groove to fall into than the effort of full feeling. Each time you bypass a strong emotion by remaining numb, you save a little bit of that precious, limited energy. Your brain registers this as a practical, efficient choice. This way, I can keep going without completely collapsing. The short-term benefit of conserving energy can outweigh the long-term cost of a life lived without its full emotional color. Numbness can become a familiar state, and stepping out of it can feel daunting. The world of intense emotions can seem overwhelming. Numbness offers predictability, a muted landscape. This creates inertia, your body accustomed to a lower level of arousal. There's comfort in the known, even if it's a form of absence. The habit of numbness can alter your perception. You might believe this is just who you are now. Questioning the numbness can feel like questioning yourself. Breaking this habit requires conscious effort. The hold it has is strong, but not unbreakable. Not when met with compassion and a desire to reconnect with your own heart. The idea of feeling everything again might seem overwhelming right now, and that is perfectly, deeply okay. We are not aiming to open the floodgates all at once. Instead, we begin with the softest, most gentle invitation, an invitation to simply notice, without any pressure at all, to become aware of the quiet sensations that are always with you, the subtle whispers of your body in this very present moment. This is our starting point, a gentle return, right here, right now. Let's begin with the sense of touch, if that feels all right. Notice the fabric of your clothes against your skin. Is it soft, or perhaps a little rough? Is it loose or snug? Feel the temperature of the air on your face or hands. If you're holding a warm cup, notice that gentle heat, the solidness of the chair supporting you, the ground beneath your feet. These are small anchors to the present, always available. No need to search for them, just a soft turning of attention. Now perhaps we can gently turn towards the world of sound. Listen for a moment, not to analyze, but simply to receive. What are the furthest sounds you can hear right now? Maybe distant traffic, or the wind rustling leaves outside. And what about the closer sounds? The hum of an appliance, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing if you listen closely. There is no right or wrong sound to notice, no judgment here, just an open, curious listening to the symphony of this moment. This practice of noticing through your senses is a quiet return, a way to gently re-inhabit your physical body. It's about reconnecting with the simple fact of your aliveness. Here, in this moment, you are breathing, you are present. This isn't about forcing feelings or achieving a certain state. It's a tender act of self-discovery, of coming home. Allow yourself to be curious, to be gentle, to just be. This is the first, soft step on the path to feeling again. Our bodies and minds are so beautifully intertwined, you see. When we feel numb, it's often as if a bridge has become quiet. The lively communication between our physical selves and our emotional core can feel distant, almost paused, a little bit like static. But this connection, this vital pathway, is never truly broken. It is simply waiting for a gentle invitation to reawaken. We can start to rebuild this bridge with tiny, mindful movements, and with the simple, profound act of noticing our breath. Consider for a moment the idea of very gentle stretching. Not an intense workout, not a push to your limits, but a soft, slow extension of your arms or legs. Notice the feeling in your muscles as they lengthen slightly. Roll your shoulders gently or slowly turn your neck. Feel the subtle shifts and sensations within your body. These small movements are like quiet conversations, a way of saying hello to your physical self once more. And then there is your breath, your constant, faithful companion. It flows in and out, a steady rhythm of life. You don't need to change it or control it in any way. Simply bring a soft awareness to its presence. Notice the sensation of the air entering your nostrils, the gentle rise and fall of your chest or abdomen. Each breath is an anchor to the present moment, so simple. A reminder that you are here, alive, and breathing through it all. There is no right way to do this, no perfect outcome to achieve. These are not tasks to be completed, but offerings to yourself, small acts of embodiment, of returning to your physical experience. If you only notice your breath for a few seconds, that is enough. If you only stretch one finger, that is a beautiful beginning. Be kind to yourself in this process, infinitely patient. These tiny steps are powerful acts of reconnection, leading you gently back to the wisdom held within your body. Facing big emotions can be daunting, especially after numbness. Instead, listen for a single note. Name just one emotion each day, even if it's numb. Ask, what is one thing I might be feeling today? Write it down. This is about gentle observation, a space for honest inquiry. Over time, this builds your emotional vocabulary. With persistence, it becomes easier. Learn to listen to the quiet language of your own heart, one day at a time. There is a deep, almost primal connection between humans and nature. Something within us resonates with the rhythms of the natural world. The gentle rustling of leaves, the vastness of the sky, the patient strength of an ancient tree, the resilience of a wildflower. Nature has an innate ability to soothe our weary souls, to calm our agitated minds and offer a sense of perspective. When we feel numb and disconnected from ourselves, the nurturing hand of the outdoors can be a powerful healer. You don't need to embark on a grand wilderness expedition. The smallest doses of nature can offer profound comfort. Consider spending just 5 quiet minutes sitting outside, perhaps on a park bench or in your own backyard or by a window. Notice one thing, the way sunlight filters through leaves, the intricate pattern of a spider's web glistening with dew, the feeling of a gentle breeze on your skin. These small moments of connection can be surprisingly grounding. Nature asks nothing of us, expects nothing from us. It simply is, in all its imperfect, wild beauty. It doesn't judge our numbness or our struggles. It offers a space where we can just be, without pretense. There's a profound acceptance in the natural world that can help us to cultivate a similar acceptance towards ourselves. The silence of a forest, or the rhythmic sound of waves, can create a gentle space for our own inner quiet to be heard. The natural world is also a constant reminder of cycles, of seasons changing, of growth, decay, and renewal. It shows us that periods of quiet dormancy are often necessary before the vibrant blossoming of new life can occur. This can offer a quiet, unspoken message of hope that even in our own periods of numbness, of inner winter, the potential for warmth, for feeling, for reconnection still exists. Nature patiently waits for us to notice its gentle embrace. Sometimes the feelings we hold are too deep or too complex for words. They reside in a place that our logical, verbal mind can't quite reach. Numbness can often feel like a heavy blanket over this place, but creativity, in its many gentle forms, can offer another language, a way to bypass the need for explanation and analysis, and to connect with those submerged parts of ourselves. It's not about becoming a great artist, not at all. It's about allowing a little spark of expression to emerge. Think of the simplest, most non-judgmental creative acts. Perhaps you could try doodling on a piece of paper, letting your hand move freely without any specific goal in mind. Or maybe explore coloring with crayons or colored pencils, focusing on the sensation of color meeting the page, humming a simple tune or tapping out a gentle rhythm. These small acts can begin to stir something within, a quiet resonance, a subtle movement in the emotional landscape. You can also engage with the creativity of others. Listen to a piece of music that once moved you, not to analyze it, but to simply let the sounds wash over you. Read a poem that speaks to a quiet corner of your heart. Look at a painting or a photograph that evokes a gentle response. Sometimes, seeing or hearing another's expression can help to unlock a corresponding feeling within ourselves, a sense of recognition, of not being alone in our experience. This gentle engagement with creativity is not about forcing anything. It's not about producing a masterpiece or achieving a specific result. It is about the process, the gentle act of exploration, a way to softly stir the soul, to invite feeling back in, without the pressure of having to understand it all immediately. Think of it as planting tiny seeds of expression, watering them with your quiet attention and curiosity, and patiently waiting to see what might gently begin to bloom. This journey of reconnecting with your feelings is profoundly personal, and the most important companion you can have is self-compassion. Please remember you are not broken for feeling numb. This state arose for reasons, often as a form of protection. So, as you take these gentle steps towards feeling again, wrap yourself in the softest blanket of kindness and understanding. Treat yourself as you would treat a dear friend, someone who is navigating a tender and courageous path. Often, when we are numb, our inner critic can be quite loud, whispering unhelpful things about why we feel this way, or judging our progress or lack thereof on this journey. Part of reconnecting gently is learning to soften that voice, to meet those critical thoughts with a gentle acknowledgement, and then a quiet turning towards kindness instead. It's okay that I feel this way. I am doing my best. This inner gentleness creates the safe space needed for feelings to emerge. If and when you feel ready, you might consider a tiny, safe step, a soft reach towards a trusted person in your life. This doesn't mean you have to share your deepest vulnerabilities immediately. It could be as simple as spending quiet time with someone or sharing a small, honest observation about your day. Feeling seen and accepted by another, even in small ways, can be incredibly healing and help to melt the edges of numbness. But only if it feels safe and right for you, without any pressure. Remember, feeling is a journey, not a race to a finish line. There will be moments of connection, and perhaps moments of quiet again. This is all part of the natural rhythm of healing and growth. The aim is not to be constantly overwhelmed by emotion, but to reclaim your capacity to experience the fullness of your life, with all its beautiful, messy, and vibrant hues. Be patient with yourself, celebrate the small steps, and know that you are worthy of feeling whole again, little by little. We've explored emotional numbness, a shield from too much pain, stress, or overwhelming input. It was a necessary shelter when the world felt too loud to bear. Feeling numb doesn't mean you're broken, but a testament to what you've endured. This numbness was a strategy, not an identity. This path leads towards a richer experience, embracing your complete, authentic self. You are whole, even with this chapter of numbness. You are unfolding towards your own beautiful wholeness. Imagine a soft, gentle dawn, the first rays of light touching the horizon. This is the promise of reconnection that awaits you now. This journey of returning to your feelings happens little by little. Think of it like a flower slowly unfurling its petals, responding to warmth and light. Small shifts, subtle awarenesses, tiny moments of connection. When we speak of feeling again, we embrace the entire spectrum. All these emotions are natural, human, and part of a full life. Most importantly, you are absolutely allowed to feel again. It has never truly been lost to you, never truly gone. You are allowed to explore these feelings at your own gentle pace. On this tender journey, self-compassion is your most valuable companion. Treat yourself with gentle kindness. The numbness protected your sensitive heart. Wrap yourself in understanding as you take courageous steps towards feeling. There may be challenging moments, but know this is normal. Healing doesn't follow a straight line. Allow yourself the grace of an unhurried pace. Meet your inner critic with compassionate awareness. Remind yourself, I am doing my best. It's okay to be where I am. The journey towards feeling again may seem vast, but it begins with one single, courageous, small step. You don't need all the answers right now. All that is needed is the willingness to take that first gentle step towards yourself. So I invite you now to consider taking just one small, manageable step today. Perhaps spend 5 quiet minutes noticing your breath, or you could step outside and feel the sun or breeze on your skin. Choose something that feels soft, accessible, and kind to you. This tiny action is a powerful signal of your intention to reconnect. It is a quiet declaration of hope, a whisper of self-love. It says, I am willing to try. Celebrate this small step. You are not walking this path alone. You possess an innate capacity for healing, for growth, for resilience. Invite your full feeling self to emerge once more. The path to feeling is open to you, always. You are allowed to feel again, starting today.